Between the years of 1968 and 1969, a brutal series of 5 confirmed murders terrified the region of Northern California. The first attacks targeted young couples parking in secluded spots near remote areas like Lake Herman Road and Lake Berryessa. Then the pattern changed. In October 1969, the killer shot a taxi driver named Paul Stine in the middle of a densely populated San Francisco neighborhood. He wanted everyone to see his work. Calling himself the Zodiac, he sent handwritten letters to local newspapers, threatening violence if they didn't print them. He even mailed in a bloody swatch of Paul Stine's shirt to verify his identity. This relentless stream of mail and phone calls kept police chasing shadows until 1974, when the letters suddenly stopped. Most killers who escape detection do so by operating completely in the shadows. The Zodiac did the exact opposite, generating a massive, highly public trail of information. Investigators have an enormous amount of material to work with. They have physical forensics, like fingerprints and DNA. They have written communications spanning years. And they have eyewitnesses who saw his face and survived to describe it. For decades, law enforcement has run these leads against hundreds of names, even investigating notorious figures like Ted Kaczynski and Charles Manson. If they have his DNA, his fingerprints, his handwriting, and descriptions of his face, why are new suspects still being named in the 2020s? In a traditional investigation, more evidence usually leads to a faster resolution, but for the Zodiac, the opposite seems to be true. To see how evidence can be interpreted to fit a specific narrative, we have to look at the primary suspect, Arthur Lee Allen. Allen was a former teacher living right in Vallejo, the same area where the Zodiac committed his first attacks. He also owned a Royal typewriter. That matches the brand used to type confession letters for a 1966 murder that police suspect the Zodiac committed. During interviews, officers noticed Allen wearing a watch bearing the crossed circle Zodiac symbol. Shortly after the Lake Berryessa stabbings, he was even found with bloody knives, which he claimed he used to kill a chicken. The strongest link appeared when survivor Mike Mageau looked at a lineup and explicitly identified Arthur Lee Allen as the man who shot him. When you stack the eyewitness testimony on top of the geographic ties, the specific tools, and the behavioral coincidences, Allen looks guilty. But a web of coincidences isn't enough to secure a conviction. That requires definitive forensic matches. This shows the threshold for proof. When investigators tested Allen's fingerprints against the bloody handprint left on Paul Stine's cab, they didn't match. Analysts compared Allen's writing to the Zodiac's letters and ruled him out as the author. Decades later, advanced DNA testing on those same letters also failed to match Allen's profile. Physical evidence acts as a hard veto. A compelling story and suspicious behavior cannot override contradictory forensic results. For years, investigators hoped the killer's complex ciphers would provide a breakthrough name. In 2020, a group of codebreakers used computer programs to solve the notoriously difficult Z340 cipher. The mathematical solution was so rigorous that the FBI officially verified the result. This animation shows the result of that translation, but the decoded message didn't contain an identity. It revealed another sadistic taunt. I like killing people because it is so much fun. Without an identifying match, the investigation loops. Researchers and authors propose new suspects into the 2020s, relying on highly specific yet unproven links. Mathematical and technological advancements haven't broken the loop. They've generated more data to sift through, without producing the singular, undeniable result needed to close the case. There is a significant gap between building a convincing narrative and proving it in court. Human memory shifts over time, and what looks like a deeply suspicious connection is often just a coincidence. The real problem is that the physical evidence in the Zodiac case is permanently fractured. The DNA, the fingerprints, and the eyewitness descriptions all point in different directions. The investigation is stalled by the volume of the material itself. This archive of evidence belongs to too many different records, leaving the killer forever trapped where he left himself, somewhere between infamy and anonymity.